Welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden treasures lying quietly in plain sight, and today, we are diving into the incredible story of the 1993 D1 coin, a small piece of copper-plated zinc that has become one of the most mysterious and sought-after coins in American numismatic history, rumored to be worth a staggering $95 million due to its fascinating combination of errors, minting anomalies, and historical quirks that make it one of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever known. Imagine finding a simple penny from 1993 with a Denver mint mark, something most of us would overlook, toss in a jar, or hand over in change without a second thought, only to discover that it could potentially be worth more than the most expensive cars, mansions, or even entire businesses. This is not just the tale of a coin, it's the story of how human imperfection, machine error, and a stroke of chance turned an ordinary cent into an extraordinary fortune. The 1993 D penny, minted at the Denver Mint, was supposed to be part of the billions of ordinary Lincoln cents produced that year, each bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, continuing the design that had been in use since 1959. But hidden among these billions, a few rare pieces emerged that were anything but ordinary. These coins contained a range of errors so rare, so perfectly imperfect, that collectors today would trade small fortunes just to own one. The first and most significant type of error that has been documented in the 1993 D penny is the double die error. A double die occurs during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin is engraved twice but slightly misaligned, causing parts of the design, especially the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile, to appear duplicated or shadowed. On the 1993 D penny, some rare specimens exhibit doubling in areas such as the Liberty inscription, the phrase "In God We Trust," and even around Lincoln's eye or mouth, giving his portrait a ghostly, almost three-dimensional appearance. These visual distortions catch the eye immediately and are unmistakable under magnification, often serving as the first clue that a coin might be far more valuable than its face value suggests. But what makes the 1993 D penny even more fascinating is the discovery of planchette errors, mistakes in the metal blank on which the coin is struck. In some cases, the penny was struck on a foreign planchette, or on a planchette meant for a different denomination, leading to variations in weight, color, and thickness. There are even documented cases where collectors have found 1993 D pennies struck on bronze planchets, even though the US Mint officially switched to zinc planchets with copper plating in 1982. These bronze planchette errors are incredibly rare and highly prized because they represent a mistake that theoretically should not exist more than a decade after the transition. A bronze 1993 D penny can weigh about 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, and this slight difference, when confirmed by precise measurement and metallurgical analysis, can make the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth millions. Another remarkable error found in some 1993 D pennies is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank planchette is not properly aligned within the coining press, causing the design to be stamped off-center. Depending on the degree of misalignment, parts of the design, date, or lettering may be missing, and a crescent-shaped blank area appears along the edge. The more dramatic the off-center strike, while still retaining identifiable features like the mint mark and date, the higher the coin's value. Collectors love off-center strikes because they are visually striking and serve as tangible evidence of a minting process gone wrong. Some 1993 D pennies with 40% to 60% off-center strikes have been valued in the tens of thousands, but when combined with other errors like double dies or wrong planchets, their worth skyrockets. Beyond these visible minting mistakes, there's also the possibility of transitional errors, which occur when a coin is struck using materials or designs meant for a different year. For example, transitional errors have historically been some of the most valuable types of minting mistakes, such as the 1943 copper penny or the 1944 steel penny, both of which were the result of material changes during wartime production. In the case of the 1993 D penny, some experts speculate that a few were struck on leftover planchets from earlier years or even on experimental test planchets intended for other coins. These anomalies make them incredibly unique because they tell a story about how minting processes overlap and how human oversight can lead to historic collectibles. Adding to its mystique is the fact that 1993 was a transitional year in the sense that the US Mint was constantly refining its equipment, dies, and quality control systems to handle massive production volumes. With billions of pennies produced annually, even the most minuscule mistake could slip through undetected. The Denver Mint was especially busy that year, minting hundreds of millions of coins, and it's believed that this high level of production pressure increased the likelihood of mechanical and human errors. The 1993 D penny also captures attention because of die cracks and die breaks that occurred during the striking process. Over time, the steel dies used to stamp coins wear out and can develop small fractures. When a cracked die strikes a coin, it leaves behind raised lines or blobs of metal on the surface, known as die cracks or cuds. Some 1993 D pennies show dramatic die breaks around Lincoln's head or near the rim, forming odd raised shapes that look like extra letters or design elements. These types of minting defects are like the fingerprint of the minting machinery's wear and tear, and each one is unique, adding to the coin's individual story and collectability. Collectors love these because no two are exactly the same, and the more prominent or dramatic the die crack, the more eye-catching and valuable the coin becomes. But not all errors are visible to the naked eye. Some are hidden in subtle shifts in design alignment, metal composition, or even striking pressure. There have been cases where 1993 D pennies were struck with slightly misaligned dies, causing the design to be rotated or tilted slightly relative to the coin's rim. In others, the plating process was flawed, leading to bubbling, peeling, or discoloration on the surface. These surface anomalies might look like damage, but under expert analysis, they can often be traced back to minting mistakes rather than post-mint wear, which drastically increases their desirability. The combination of all these potential errors, double die, off-center strike, wrong planchet, die cracks, and plating issues, makes the 1993 D penny a veritable goldmine for collectors and enthusiasts alike. What's more, the extreme rarity of finding multiple errors in one specimen exponentially increases its value. A 1993 D penny that combines several of these mistakes, such as being double die struck on a bronze planchet with an off-center design, could easily fetch astronomical sums at auction, and it's this combination of possibilities that fuels the rumor of the $95 million valuation. While some may find that number unbelievable, in the world of rare coins, precedent exists. For instance, the 1943 copper penny, a simple 1-cent coin made of the wrong metal during World War II, has fetched hundreds of thousands of dollars in private sales and auctions. The 1794 flowing hair silver dollar and the 1933 double eagle have sold for millions, demonstrating how rarity, condition, and historical intrigue can turn ordinary coins into legendary treasures. The 1993 D penny follows this same pattern of rarity magnified by mystery, a coin that represents not just a mistake but a moment in minting history when perfection slipped just enough to create something exceptional. The value of such coins is not merely about metal or face value, it's about narrative and provenance. Every serious collector wants to own a coin that tells a story, that carries within it the imperfections of its creation, and the 1993 D penny embodies that perfectly. Adding to the allure are the countless reports of people discovering peculiar 1993 D pennies in pocket change, only to later realize they had something extraordinary. These discoveries continue to inspire treasure hunters and collectors to comb through their jars of old coins, magnifying glass in hand, hoping to find one with a telltale sign of minting error. It's this very accessibility, this idea that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon a fortune hiding in plain sight, that gives the legend of the 1993 D penny its enduring appeal. Imagine a coin with a small doubling on the date, a faint die crack running across Lincoln's shoulder, and just the slightest off-center alignment. Those tiny imperfections could be the difference between a penny and a life-changing discovery. Some experts also note that environmental conditions can sometimes accentuate minting flaws over time. For instance, exposure to certain conditions can cause planchet flaws to become more visible, revealing small cracks or separations in the metal that were there from the beginning but not noticeable at first. When these natural effects interact with genuine minting errors, they create coins that are visually stunning and unique. Additionally, the Denver Mint signature D, the mint mark itself, has been the source of variations. Next! Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in modern numismatics, the story of the 2012 D1 cent coin, a penny that most people would ignore or toss into a jar, but which has become the center of incredible attention for being rumored to be worth as much as $43 million due to a combination of rare minting errors, production mistakes, and fascinating anomalies that have stunned collectors and experts alike. This small copper-colored coin, minted in Denver in 2012, carries a story that's far bigger than its tiny denomination, and what makes it even more intriguing is that its value skyrocketed not because of its metal content or age, but because of the peculiar circumstances surrounding its creation and the mysterious variations that only a handful of people have ever seen up close. To truly appreciate why this 2012 D penny could be worth tens of millions of dollars, we have to step back into how coins like these are made, understand the exact minting processes, the types of errors that can occur, and why each tiny imperfection can send shockwaves through the coin-collecting world. The US Mint operates with staggering precision, producing billions of coins each year, but even in such controlled environments, errors can occur: off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, planchet errors, repunched mint marks, misaligned dies, and even wrong planchet strikes are just a few of the anomalies that can appear in a batch, and it's often these accidents that turn ordinary coins into once-in-a-lifetime treasures. The 2012 D penny, minted at the Denver facility, was supposed to be a standard Lincoln shield cent made primarily of zinc coated with copper, featuring the shield design on the reverse that symbolizes the Union and the enduring strength of the United States, with the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse that has been in use since 1909. But a handful of 2012 D pennies reportedly came out with distinct characteristics that caught collectors' eyes immediately: thick planchet layers, doubled images on Lincoln's face and inscriptions, and in some cases, visible die cracks running through the shield or letters of V pluribus unum. What makes these errors significant isn't just their appearance, but the fact that they were not supposed to exist under the tight quality control standards of the Denver Mint, which made each of these flawed coins incredibly desirable among enthusiasts. Imagine a coin that shows a doubling on the date 2012 or the D mint mark that looks slightly shifted, creating a shadow effect under magnification. This is known as a double die error, and in the coin world, such details can make all the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth thousands or even millions. But the mystery surrounding the 2012 D penny deepens because there are also reports of coins struck on experimental planchets, possibly leftover blanks from earlier production runs or test strikes that weren't meant for circulation, leading to unique weight variations and metallic inconsistencies that make them stand apart from regular issues. These differences can be detected by experts using precise weighing scales and metal analyzers, and when confirmed, they elevate the coin's rarity to an entirely new level. A standard 2012 penny weighs about 2.5 grams, but some of these rare specimens have been recorded at slightly heavier weights, around 3 grams or more, suggesting the possibility of copper planchet usage or improper blank preparation, a mistake that's nearly impossible to replicate. The copper planchet theory alone sends collectors into a frenzy because since 1982, pennies have been made mostly from zinc with only a thin copper coating, so if a true 2012 D penny was struck on an older-style copper planchet, it would be a monumental discovery, akin to finding a modern coin produced with an ancient method, making it virtually priceless in the eyes of numismatists. Another intriguing error linked to the 2012 D penny involves misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse designs don't perfectly match, leading to a slightly off-centered image or rim distortion. These kinds of coins often fetch enormous sums at auctions because they showcase the raw, human side of minting, a glimpse into the moment when machinery failed, even for a split second, creating something truly unique. But beyond the visible errors, part of the 2012 D penny's allure lies in the mystery and speculation about how many of these flawed coins actually exist. Some estimates suggest only a handful might have escaped into circulation before being noticed, which adds to the excitement and rarity. The fewer examples known, the higher the value climbs, and with the numismatic market driven heavily by scarcity, a single verified specimen can command unimaginable sums. There are also rumors of a few 2012 D pennies displaying what appears to be a die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchette in between, leaving ghostly outlines of the design on both sides of the coin, a haunting yet mesmerizing error that collectors crave. Others claim that certain pieces show broad strikes, where the collar that usually shapes the coin's edge failed, causing the penny to spread wider and flatter than normal, distorting its appearance but enhancing its appeal. Each of these errors, whether a double die clash, off-center strike, or planchette anomaly, adds a unique fingerprint to the coin, making it one of a kind. In the coin collecting world, that uniqueness translates directly into value, and the combination of multiple errors on a single coin can multiply that value exponentially. Now, when a coin like this hits the market or even becomes rumored to exist, collectors and investors start scrambling to verify its authenticity. Authentication involves microscopic inspection, metallurgical analysis, and comparison with mint records, and once confirmed, auction houses can see bidding wars erupt. The fascination with the 2012 D penny is fueled not just by its physical attributes but by the intrigue surrounding its creation. Did a mint worker notice something off and let it pass intentionally? Was it part of a small batch that accidentally used the wrong blanks? Or could there be a more mysterious explanation involving prototype testing? These unanswered questions add layers of fascination to the story, making it more than just a coin but a piece of modern minting mythology. Furthermore, the historical context adds another layer of charm. The Lincoln Shield design was still relatively new in 2012, introduced only 2 years earlier in 2010, so collectors were particularly alert to any variations or errors that might arise in those early production years. Mint transitions often lead to higher chances of errors, and history has shown that such transitional mistakes can produce some of the rarest and most valuable coins ever made. For instance, the famous 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die Lincoln Cent are examples where rare minting anomalies led to astronomical valuations, and the 2012 D penny seems to follow in that legendary tradition. Even the placement and thickness of the mint mark D have become a talking point. Some examples show a slightly tilted or doubled mint mark, an indicator of manual repunching or die fatigue. These tiny imperfections, invisible to the casual eye, are magnified in importance under the numismatic lens. The coloration of some of these pennies has also drawn attention, with certain specimens exhibiting unusual luster or tone due to improper annealing of the planchette before striking, leading to color variations that make the coin stand out. Coins that display rainbow toning, metallic sheen, or darker copper patches often attract collectors for their aesthetic beauty as much as their rarity. Then there's the emotional aspect of such discoveries. Imagine someone finding a rare 2012 D penny in their change, unaware that they're holding a coin potentially worth millions. Stories have emerged online of individuals selling these rare coins for small amounts before realizing their true worth later, sparking debates among collectors about how many more could still be out there, sitting unnoticed in drawers, piggy banks, or old collections. The potential of uncovering such a fortune from everyday change keeps the dream alive for countless hobbyists and treasure hunters. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers have been known to handle error coins of similar rarity, and when they do, the results can be record-breaking. The hype surrounding a $43 million valuation might sound unbelievable, but it's rooted in the simple laws of supply and demand combined with collector passion and the historical significance of the coin. When only a few pieces exist and collectors are willing to pay anything to own one, prices can reach extraordinary heights. Some analysts believe that the 2012 D penny's immense rumored value could also be influenced by speculation, where the story and mystery become part of the coin's allure, driving prices far beyond what traditional numismatic grading would dictate. Still, it's undeniable that its errors make it a standout in modern coinage. Among the most fascinating aspects of this penny is the possibility that it bridges both old and new minting eras, a reminder that even in the age of precision and digital quality control, human error or unexpected machine glitches can create masterpieces of rarity. Today, we're exploring one of the most intriguing stories in modern numismatics, the 2015 D 1 cent coin, a small copper-plated zinc penny that most people wouldn't even look at twice, but some collectors and experts believe could be worth as much as $65 million because of its extraordinary errors, minting anomalies, and the layers of mystery surrounding its production. This tiny coin, minted at the Denver Mint, is a modern marvel of error coinage, and its staggering estimated value has fascinated collectors and investors alike. So, what makes a simple 2015 D penny so special? Why is this little coin that's supposed to be worth just 1 cent now rumored to be valued higher than luxury mansions, exotic cars, or entire collections of gold bars? The answer lies in the delicate dance between the minting process, human error, and the unpredictable quirks of machine precision that sometimes produce coins unlike any other. The 2015 D penny story begins at the Denver Mint, where millions upon millions of coins are struck each year with mind-boggling speed and precision. The 2015 issue was part of the Lincoln Shield Cent series, a design that started in 2010 to honor the long legacy of the Lincoln Cent, which has been circulating since 1909. On its surface, this coin carries the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the phrase, "In God We Trust," arched above his head, liberty to his left, and the date 2015, accompanied by the small but significant D, the mint mark indicating its Denver origin. The reverse side features the Union Shield with its bold inscription 1 cent and E pluribus unum. However, among these billions of normal strikes, a few extraordinary examples emerged that defied minting norms and revealed errors that transformed them into treasures. These errors weren't just minor imperfections, they were rare, dramatic, and in some cases, unique. One of the most discussed and valuable error types for the 2015 D penny involves off-center strikes. Imagine the coin blank, called a planchette, being slightly misaligned when it is struck by the dies, causing Lincoln's portrait to appear shifted to one side and leaving part of the coin blank. Such errors can range from minor off-centers of 5 to 10% to dramatic 50% or more off-center strikes, where the missing portion exposes raw metal and creates a stunning visual contrast. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible, which allows collectors to identify it precisely. A 2015 D penny struck 40% off-center with a visible date, for instance, could easily fetch thousands of dollars, and if it possesses additional features such as double dies or partial collar strikes, its value could soar exponentially. Another major factor in the 2015 D penny's immense valuation lies in double die errors. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coins receives a misalignment during its creation, resulting in certain design elements appearing doubled. This could manifest in Lincoln's profile, the inscriptions "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," or even the shield lines on the reverse. A dramatic doubling that is clear to the naked eye is extremely desirable because it means the error originated at the die stage, not from post-mint damage. Reports from collectors have surfaced of 2015 D pennies showing strong doubling on the obverse lettering and faint secondary impressions around Lincoln's jawline and coat, sparking speculation that these are among the most significant double die varieties of the 21st century. The fact that the 2015 D pennies were mass-produced with advanced technology makes such a bold error even more fascinating. It suggests something unusual happened in the die creation process, possibly due to microscopic misalignments or calibration issues during die hubbing. Even more incredible is that some specimens exhibit a combination of multiple error types, a phenomenon known as a compound error. For instance, a few 2015 D pennies reportedly have both off-center strikes and die cracks or die breaks, meaning the die itself fractured during use, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal known as cuds on the coin surface. A coin with both an off-center strike and a large cud error can command huge premiums, sometimes in the tens of thousands. When such a coin is also in pristine condition, graded mint state 68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, its rarity compounds dramatically, leading to jaw-dropping valuations. And then there are the rare cases of wrong planchette errors, where a coin is struck on a blank intended for another denomination, say, a dime or a foreign coin. If even one 2015 D cent was struck on a nickel or dime planchette, its weight and appearance would immediately stand out to sharp-eyed collectors, and its market value could skyrocket. Numismatic experts suggest that if such a wrong planchet 2015D penny exists and surfaces publicly, it could become a once-in-a-lifetime find worth millions on its own. Weight anomalies play a major role in determining such minting mysteries. A normal 2015D penny should weigh around 2.5 grams, as it's made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. But rare specimens have been discovered weighing slightly more or less, indicating the possibility of planchets that were improperly cut or even leftover blanks from earlier copper alloy compositions mistakenly fed into the presses. For example, a few modern Lincoln cents have been found struck on pre-year 1982 bronze planchets, which weigh 3.1 grams. If a 2015D penny struck on a bronze planchet were authenticated, it could command an astronomical price because it would represent a minting mistake spanning over 3 decades of composition changes. That alone could explain how a single 2015D penny might reach a rumored value of $65 million in collector lore. The most intriguing possibilities, however, involve die clashes and misaligned dies that produce eerie and ghost-like impressions of the reverse design faintly visible on the obverse, or vice versa. These clash die errors occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring part of one design onto the other die face. When coins are later struck with those dies, they carry these bizarre mirrored impressions that make each specimen visually stunning. A perfectly visible clash die on a modern penny is extremely rare, and when it appears alongside doubling, cracks, or off-centering, the uniqueness skyrockets. Collectors pay immense premiums for such one-of-a-kind combinations. Add to that the allure of misaligned dies. When the hammer and anvil dies don't align correctly, the design appears shifted or tilted, creating a shadow strike effect that looks surreal under magnification. A 2015D penny with a visible misalignment combined with hub doubling and die clash evidence would be so unique that it would almost transcend the concept of a simple coin. It would be considered a masterpiece of minting imperfection, a physical story of mechanical error frozen in metal. Furthermore, surface anomalies such as blistering or plating bubbles, caused by trapped gas beneath the thin copper plating, add to the fascination. These bubbles can form patterns, sometimes near Lincoln's portrait or within the fields, giving each coin a distinct topography. In most cases, minor plating blisters reduce a coin's grade, but when they form in visually compelling or symmetrical ways, especially alongside other errors, collectors may treat them as evidence of a rare production phenomenon rather than a defect. There are also transitional design elements and die deterioration doubling, where older dies begin to wear down, causing design elements to appear stretched or distorted. In 2015, the Denver Mint was known for operating under massive production pressure, churning out billions of coins to meet circulation demands. Under such high-speed conditions, die wear can occur faster than expected, leading to distortions that collectors later interpret as potential double dies or other anomalies. The Denver Mint's unique environmental conditions, temperature, humidity, and machinery vibration could have contributed to the imperfect striking of certain planchets, especially toward the end of a die's life cycle. When a coin like this manages to escape quality control, it becomes a rare survivor of a billion-coin process. The high-speed presses that produce hundreds of coins per minute are engineered for efficiency, not perfection, and even the tiniest lapse in alignment or calibration can result in extraordinary mint errors that slip through unnoticed. What's remarkable is that these small variations, often invisible to the casual observer, become priceless artifacts to experts who understand the rarity of mint errors in such a tightly controlled modern era. Now, imagine one such 2015D penny embodying multiple of these characteristics: a strong double die, a significant off-center strike, and a dramatic die clash, all preserved in mint-state condition with brilliant luster. Such a specimen could easily become a legend in numismatic circles, fetching auction bids reaching tens of millions as elite collectors battle for ownership. Stories have circulated of mysterious private sales where error coins changed hands for enormous sums, often kept confidential between high-profile buyers.